can hear the lost crying. I can hear the truth hiding. Yeah, the shadows are calling us out. I see the fear rising. Yeah, but my hope is burning. The shadows are calling us out. We are heroes, heroes in the darkest time, when there is no light. Oh, we are heroes, heroes in the darkest time, but we'll rise above. Oh, we are heroes.
Continuing on to the day 2 of the group stages for the GCM, we'll be taking over for this time. So thank you so much for Arctic and Chisto. We'll hand it from here. My name is Vulcan. With me is Crazy Apple. And thank you so much for tuning back in to the day 2 of the group stages. This time it's going to be Group B, and we will be casting a game that's going to be very interesting to watch. It's going to be Kuala Lumpur Hunters versus Bigatron Esports. But coming in from match 3, I would say Archangel had a rough time against one of the regions. I would say Mega Esports. They really know how to play that Rise really well.
Yeah, and we've seen in Group A that Ascension Gaming also uses Rise pretty well. Both their solo laners are using it pretty well. And we saw earlier from Mega Esports, from their mid laner Secret, his Rise was such a beast as well. It was kind of similar to how G4 was using it.
It's a thing that we normally see right now. I would say that when it comes to seeing other regions, we can see similarities. This is what I like to see in the first seed and second seed. But I think for our viewers out there who are wondering what's going to be coming up next, don't worry. We'll be doing our best to catch you up to speed for all the viewers that are joining us right now. So, like Chisto and Arctic did mention, we will be taking over the half of the game, and match 4, 5, and 6. This will be us. But one thing that's really worth highlighting is the game with Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Because you gotta hand it towards KLH, being the first seed of Malaysia, and not to mention, their second seed in Group A really performed so well that when you're talking about a first seed such as KLH, you'd expect more.
Yeah, and we really did see a lot from Kuala Lumpur Hunters earlier. They really closed out the game against Archangel pretty well. But I would also say, for talking about earlier, the third match of the day between Archangel, they showed signs of life against the second seed of Thailand, which is Mega Esports. And I'm actually really excited to see how Bigatron would be adjusting, seeing also that they are the only seed coming from Indonesia, and they are now gonna go against the first seed of Malaysia. They did lose their first game though, Bigatron Esports, but we'll see if they can bounce back and probably take at least one win for them in this group.
And we'll see that once we progress through the match 4 and 5, 6. But let us show you the standings and also the schedule to, recap you to up to speed on what happened so far. We are now entering the half of our stream day. So let us check on to the standings and the schedule for the viewers to actually answer the questions that they are wondering. So finally on your screens right now, we can see the standings. Mega Esports with 2-0, Kuala Lumpur Hunters with a 1-0, Bigatron Esports 0-1. And now again, Philippines team, kind of the mirror we saw with their first seed in Group A. It's going to be them at the bottom with 0-2.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to see both Philippine teams having a rough start to the group stages, but this is a double round robin. So there's still a chance that we see them on day 3 and day 4 of the group stages that they might be able to bounce back. But for now, we're going to go into this game between Bigatron Esports and Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
And that's going to be a game that I think will really shape how Group B will turn out. So, you know the Kuala Lumpur Hunters are the first seed of Malaysia. You're talking about Indonesia, the only seed from their respective region. Let's see how they will fare against the first seed, because we've seen throughout the history, we've seen how they performed during the recently concluded, I will always say this, rest in peace GPL, and we did see that they did struggle. They're fairly new name coming from Indonesia. Yes, we have to agree with that, but it's up to them how they stepped up going into this match 4. So let's head on to the drafting phase. And now, this is more of the exciting part for some viewers, or if you're like me, the medyo boring part. That's for me, but Crazy Apple, can you kindly take it away from here?
Well, I would agree that it sometimes is the boring part of the game, but we
For
did
me,
see Pikachu on esports earlier picking up that ribbon for the top lane. So we'll see if they have another of those kind of unique picks that you don't really see much right now in competitive. But right off the bat, Pikachu on esports is banning that that Aatrox, while Kuala Lumpur Hunters is banning that Varus.
I think countless times in our Group B, Day 2, we did see Aatrox, but it was very underwhelming, I would say. I feel like when I was watching games, the Philippine games, it was more on, I got the feeling that in their region, they kind of lag behind. I feel like they're stuck in patch 8.13 or 14, the way they're playing. But you see KLH, you gotta hand it towards them.
Yeah.
You talk about high tier teams, you talk about high picks, they know how to pick them.
Yeah, and it also might be because I've seen some of the VODs from the other regions, and a lot of them have been sticking to the traditional marksman picks. So if these teams have been sticking to the old meta before everything blew up, before there were mages, there were melee champions in the bottom lane, you don't see marksmen. But if they still stuck with those, and right now we're seeing a prevalence of more marksman picks, so it would mean that they are more practiced on these picks compared to our Philippine teams.
And you did mention more marksmen, and now you can see on Kuala Lumpur's side, Phase 1 will conclude for Bigaton Esports, closing it with a Rakan ban. But for KLH, can we expect maybe another marksman ban? Because we're seeing 2 so far.
Well, we do see the Varus and the Ashe, which have been used both by Archangel in their previous 2 games. And we do see the last ban, that is a Nocturne, which is, we think, one of the highest priority and the highest tier junglers currently in this patch.
At the same time, you can actually see how Kuala Lumpur artists, they know to play against it. We've seen invades from other regions too. I mean, Gragas jungle is a thing. I've seen it in action, and sometimes it's worth picking up. But look at that, Bigaton Esports, Camille. We know that this is a powerful level 2 jungle, but can also be flexed in the top lane.
Yeah, and if this will be going top lane, it would be a really, really good duelist, and we would expect Kuala Lumpur Hunters to probably pick either another strong laner, possibly this Renekton that they're hovering on right now.
This kind of takes me back to Day 1, but focusing on today, we're going to be seeing a switch. Look at that. We've seen Caspia play on this Rex. I mean, in no way, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. The last time we've seen this Rek'Sai, and I'm not really sure how Rek'Sai would fit into a lot of these compositions right now, because the Kindred is still open, the Gragas is still open. There's a lot of open junglers that usually would have higher priority, but they do go for that Rek'Sai pick, and they do follow it up with that Galio lock-in.
I won't be surprised if they try and deny the Shen this time around. Who knows? It's still open. Shen has been a constant pick in the support lane, but live to Bigaton Esports. Again, Camille is a powerful duelist,
yes,
as you said, trying to match it with a powerful laner, but I think Kuala Lumpur Hunters, they're trying to think, they're trying to predict. Instead, from a Renekton, they switch to a Rek'Sai, but I think you want to highlight this pick right here.
Yeah, but they did not lock it in. So we'll talk about Corki later if it does get locked in. But it was one of the things that, or one of the champions that I saw Indonesia was playing, and they do lock it in for MT in the mid lane. So Corki was just recently buffed. I think it was, if it wasn't 8.14, it was 8.15 that his E got buffed. It had more damage now. So basically, if you're at level 1 and you're trying to trade with the Corki early on, and you get the brunt of his E damage, then you're just gonna get shredded and you won't win a lot of the trades.
150 magic damage from level 1, that's a lot, And you would normally see that commonly against a Galio. I mean, you're gonna pick a Galio safe too, but Corki, in a way, it's a better investment. So let's see how Kuala Lumpur Hunters will treat their last pick here. I think we will be seeing Karma, and it's gonna be finalized here. Now we're entering Phase 2. They start things up with a Misfortune ban.
Yeah, and an immediate Misfortune ban coming from Kuala Lumpur Hunters. They might be trying to pinch the ADC pool of
a lot, actually.
Yeah, a lot. They've actually have banned 3 ADCs right now. So we'll see what Bigaton answers with, and they do ban that Gnar, which is one of the stronger split pushers now in the top lane, especially if the Gnar builds at Black Cleaver and Frozen Mallet, you just can't get away from that little dinosaur.
I mean, we're talking about marksman bands from KLH. Now you're talking about top bands coming from BTR Esports. So we see available top laners right now. Cho'Gath is available. Same with the Ornn. We did see it used very well. So KLH again pinching that marksman pool, trying to attack Bravo's pool. But when you talk about patch 8.15, you know that you're going to be seeing a lot of legacy ADCs coming back. KLH, they don't want any of it.
Yeah, but from what we're seeing here with the way that the pick and ban has been going, because of all of these marksmen getting banned essentially, and Swain hasn't been banned yet, and we think it's one of the strongest mages in the bot lane right now. Probably the only really viable one, except for the random Heimerdinger pick. So we'll see if BTR Esports go for that Swain, but if Bravo doesn't have that champion practice, then the other ADC that I can think of would probably be the Kai'Sa and probably the Lucian.
Look at that. The Tigers immediately attack the pole, and now they're going to be taking away the Kai'Sa from BTR Esports. Now, time's ticking. 20 seconds left. BTR Esports, they need to think. What will be their pick in the bot lane? Is it going to be a mage? Is it going to be a marksman? We have very few choices, but we can still see those crit items. But it's going to be an Ezreal pick. That's going to be instantly locked in.
Yeah, and it's... Actually, I missed this one, and it is one of those really safe laners right now. I haven't really seen a lot of Ezreals being used to good effect, but it's mostly picked when you just want your lane to really just stay safe there in the bot lane.
Safe lane, that's what they want, and I think we'll be having a treat here. It's going to be a Trundle in the jungle, but it's still a flex pick. We don't know just yet, but for Kuala Lumpur Hunters, it's going to be Tom Ken Chopper in the bot lane.
We're still waiting if they're real. Oh, they do go for that Vladimir.
Top lane Vlad?
Probably a top lane Vladimir, since they do have that Galio, which traditionally goes to the mid lane.
So I think this is going to be the final switch. Let's wait it up. Yes, and that's going to be a Vladimir in the top side against the Camille. In a way, when you think about the matchup, it's okay. Not that great. At least the Vladimir can deny some engages from the Camille.
Yeah, and if ever the Camille does use that Hextech ultimatum, he can just use his pool to mitigate some of the damage, to dodge some of the damage coming from that Camille. But looking at both of these teams, Kuala Lumpur Hunters has a lot of ways for the Galio to go into these fights. If the Vladimir uses that Predator, if he does go for that Predator and goes into the middle of the BTR Esports team, he can just be ulted by that Galio, so that Galio gets in the middle of the fight. The same way with that Rek'Sai, he can just dash in and just go into the BTR Esports lineup. But the thing is, BTR Esports right now has a really strong split pusher in that Camille. So if they can pull apart the team members of Kuala Lumpur Hunters and just keep on getting objectives, trading objectives, that might be their win condition for this game.
The thing here is we have seen the Camille in day one, how it was a nightmare for some teams to handle. I think it was the Mineski game that they did not expect the Camille to be a very powerful split pusher, not to mention a powerful finisher. Can clean up the fight really well. So KLH, I think they have a remedy for that. They did pick up the Vladimir, but more importantly, how will this game turn out? Because if, let's say, BTR Esports can win against KLH, Group B will be wide open. So match 4 will be something that I think you guys want to watch out for.
Yeah, and if BTR Esports does pick up their first win here against who we think would be the heavy favorites in this group with Kuala Lumpur Hunters, then yeah, I would agree it would be a really open group. And I'm actually pretty excited to see a really chaotic group right now.
So on your screens right now, for those who are just tuning in, this is the summary of our draft. BTR Esports will be playing on the blue side versus Kuala Lumpur Hunters on the red side. Proper hashtags there, hashtag BTR win or hashtag KLH win. Let us hear your cheers as we will now move on to Summoner's Rift. So let's hope that you're typing that hashtag wins because I can't hear your cheers. But more importantly, how Game 4 will turn out is going to be very interesting here as BTR has what it takes to try and open up this Group B onto Summoners Rift. Guys, let's see how their level 1s will play, or will they just go for standard?
Yeah, and so far it looks like these teams are just going for standard. And right now, looks like they're just gonna see each other say hi to their fellow members on the Rift right now.
You know, I was expecting an invade. I mean, you have a Morgana with a Dark Binding. Normally, you won't be enticed to go for that cheeky invade?
Normally, you would be, but at the same time, KLH does have that Karma, which deals a lot of damage. If you don't really have a lot of commitment into going into that invade, you might just get a lot of damage from the other team.
Man, I've been seeing how Group B has been going so far. KLH, yes, heavy favorites in this Group B. BTR has a lot to prove. And I mean, okay, it's fine that you're having a good start. It's how you finish this day. And I feel like for BTR, they have what it takes. But right now, we're going to be seeing some wars placed across the river, especially on both sides. BTR and KLH investing on vision.
Yeah, and right now it looks like both Shiro and Arhedge is giving a lot of attention to the Raptor camp. They're gonna give a really heavy leash to Caspiel, and also this Rek'Sai we haven't seen in a while. So we'll probably look at how Caspiel will be using this champion for this patch.
Man, Caspiel on Rek'Sai, that takes me way back. And I'm really excited to see how he will play. Normally, we know that in this current patch, we see a lot of regions, especially Thailand. They do play around their junglers a lot.
I would agree that they do play with their junglers a lot, and at the same time, it pays off heavily for them. If you remember Ascension Gaming's games with Lloyd was super effective, and Minky going into Shiro, just some trading happening in the top lane.
But he can easily regenerate that. In a way, I feel like Minky wants to really push in Shiro, try to abuse his weak level, and once you're level 2 on this Camille, you're going to be dealing a lot of damage.
Yeah, and also that punish came from how Shiro was helping in the Raptor camp of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. That's why he came in late to the lane. Minky knew that he was probably gonna get level 2 first, so going for that trade was fairly safe for him.
Eyes on the map right now, guys. You can see a lot of movements coming in from Caspiel, trying to visit top side, but will settle in the river, as well as Zico. He's now approaching his blue side. What's this? We're gonna be seeing some interactions here in the river. Kind of zooming out, we can see a good picture. Zico on the brush, sees Caspiel. They will just say hello and back off.
Yeah, but Caspiel did have that level 3 advantage to the level 2 of Zico, which also shows how much attention he's been getting from his laners. He also has that electrocute right now, which I do remember seeing in the LPL in the past, that some Rek'Sais would go electrocute. It's similar to how even tank Jarvans at the start of the game would have electrocute, or I remember before it was Thunderlord's Grasp, so that it would just be really effective. It really takes me back as well. That it would just be super effective on that early game gank.
In a way, you can say that. Hang on. A lot of damage being traded up in the bot lane. Becky starts pushing in. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this in the bot side. More importantly, in the mid lane, I feel like it's going to be very uninteractive because we're talking about a Galio and a Corki. What they do is clear bots. But right now in the bot lane, look at KLH just pushing back BTR under their turrets, not letting Bravo have an easy time. Look at that chip damage.
Oh my god, that damage though on Bravo will make him back off a bit. I'm not sure. I don't think he has enough gold yet to be able to buy Tear of the Goddess. That's why KLH is shoving that lane hard. But Zico going for a gank in the top lane.
Aha! Makeshift pillar for an engage there, but Shiro is under the pole. Then nice. The hard engage from Minky. Now they spot out the Trundle in the top side. This gives KLH some room to be more aggressive. In the bot lane, here it comes. They're going in, charge in and out. Dreams getting charged. Ignite is off. Flash in from Becky. Misses the crucial shot, but he will be burned by the Ignite, giving the first blood to KLH.
Yeah, and that was a great play from KLH. They knew that BTR's bot lane was going to be super greedy here. They really want to get that tier back for Bravo on that Ezreal. They're actually trying to aggress on this bot lane. They're trying to prevent the back as long as possible.
And I think KLH plan here is, okay, you're talking about Ezreal having a
there's a TP coming from Minky right now.
Quick response, going in the gauge. Under turret, the Karma. Superior trying to get away. Flashes over the wall. The binding will connect, rooting him down. Double teleport coming into the top side from the bot lane. Here comes Bravo. Instead, will be the one to channel his TP. Looks like Minky and Bravo investing both teleports. And KLH, in the end, lost nothing from that fight.
Yeah, and I think Kuala Lumpur Hunters would be pretty happy with that trade, even though Becky right now just got cancelled with his recall. But we see also Kuala Lumpur Hunters immediately going to the jungle of BTR, trying to get as much resources as they can. But going back to that teleport burned by Minky, BTR didn't get any kills. They didn't, I believe, didn't even get any significant summoner spells apart from that flash coming from Superior. So, and also at the same time, Shiro was able to shove in that lane towards Minky's tower, essentially giving him that 10 CS lead in the top lane.
Things are looking pretty good for KLH in a way, but BTR, I mean, let's say that. Oh yeah, I was gonna say something about Bravo's Ezreal. Yes, it has a good laning phase safe, but we can say KLH trying to end it as fast as they can to deny the stack and to deny that safe lane.
Yeah, it's because the Ezreal really needs to ramp up. He really needs his items. He needs at least 2 to 3 items before he can deal a lot of damage. But it's why I love this Corki pick from Bigatron Esports as well, because the Corki relatively as well has a laning phase, and he only needs that Triforce to be able to deal a lot of damage. If he gets 2 to 3 items as well, he's gonna deal tons of damage on the KLH lineup.
That's what we have to watch out for here. BTR, as the late game goes on, I think it will favor them heavily. Note that we are still seeing this Camille in the top side, and that's something that's quite oftenly not really noticed at points, because sometimes it's under the radar. We see it in some games, and out of nowhere, somebody pops off. The Camille.
Yeah, the Camille would be popping off, but at the same time, we're going back to this bot lane. We see that KLH has been super aggressive. Their bot lane just keeps on harassing Bravo and Dreams. And this is also partly because they don't really have any healing there in the bot lane. It's why they just keep on trying to chip them down so that they'll be forced to back eventually.
I mean, we're seeing both supports having Ignite, so they really want to try their best to push them in hard. But right now, Zico, on the no ward spotted there. That is Superior being locked by, but the Ice Spitter getting slowed down by Zico. Zico having the Black Shield does not get slowed. That Superior is quite low. Zico gets the kill. Looks like BTR gets a revenge coming in from that bot lane skirmish.
Yeah, and it's a 1-for-0 trade in favor of Bigatron Esports. But what's here in the mid lane, Arhedge is trading with
Oh,
MT.
that's a lot of damage onto MT. Quite low. Does he have flash? Yes, he does. Gets away under the turret. So, I think when it comes to KLH, I wonder what they're trying to go for here, because as far as I can see, they're trying their best to end the laning phase for BTR.
Yeah, and right now, with that kill for Bigatron Esports, they at least get something back, even though it is a 1-for-1 in the kill score right now. And even though Bigatron Esports does have that 800 gold deficit, getting that one kill allows them to have a lot more breathing room and allows them to have, you know, a lot more space coming into the rest of this early game laning phase.
And right now, what I want to watch out for is this Mountain Drake. I mean, you know that this is a very crucial Drake that, yeah, you don't want to really rush on. You want to take your time. You want to take your pace. You don't want to really make a big mistake here, because as the game goes on, BTR, they are slowly wrapping up. And now, I want to see what MP's going to do here. We're seeing a lot of focus in the bot side.
Yeah, but right now, BTR has two additional members on Zico and MT looking at the bot side as well. But now, they just backed off, and it looks like Zico is trying to help, sending reinforcements for Dreams and Bravo.
They're very under-leveled here.
Yeah.
Crazy Apple. Hero's Entrance is available on the map right now. You can see Arhedge coming in closer. Zico charging in. They're just zoning out the members of KLH, defending the bot lane turret. They cannot yet give this first turret just yet.
Yeah, but at the same time, if ever a big fight happens here in the bot lane, Kuala Lumpur Hunters top laner Shiro has that TP. Bigatron does it, and that's why they're giving up this tower, giving the first tower to Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
Not even at the 10-minute mark, closing in there, KLH ends the laning phase for Bravo. And I mean, really getting the first turret so quickly. I mean, not even 10 minutes in, they take down the first turret. This makes the map wide open.
Yeah, and apart from that they did get that first tower gold. That's why they have that almost 2k gold lead at 10 minutes. They're also relatively winning most of their lanes. And if you see Caspiel's CS count right now, he has 75 to only 40 from Zico.
And not to mention, we're seeing Ozoroveki on the Storm Razor. But right now, Bravo having the Manamuna. So we'll see if they can stack it up, because the way that KLH is playing this, they really want to make it aggressive here. Now they're shifting towards the mid lane, chucking down R-Hedge, but they can just safely, not a problem, clear the waves.
Yeah, and this is also what usually happens in the Galio versus Corki matchup. They just usually clear the waves. That's why we haven't really seen both of these mid laners affect the other lanes, even though you would say that Galio does have that semi-global in his ultimate. But just because the Corki can keep on shoving the lane, he can't really effectively go to the other parts of the map.
But leave it to BTR to try and take this Herald. This can cost them maybe 2 turrets here. KLH puts him forward. They know what's up. Caspiel going in with a Praise Seeker. Gonna go in for the tunnel. Hero Center's coming in. That's gonna be the Hero Center's coming in. And that's the knock-up they're looking for. Zico, can he get the secure? It's gonna be BTR losing everything in the Red Herald pit. Dreams gets away with a flash, but Becky will be chasing on the mirrors down, while Caspiel will be the ones to take down Dream.
Yeah, and it's a 3-4-0 so far. It looks like KLH is trying to siege this mid lane, but Bigatron Esports does pick up that Rip Herald, and Bravo currently has that buff on him right now.
But at this point, KLH doesn't care. They're going in for the television and taunt and up in the air. KLH dives that inner mid lane turn. That's going to be BTR really losing a lot of members there. KLH eyeing this outer mid lane turn, and they will just wrap it up there. Take it away and get a reset.
Yeah, and it might be transitioned to this Mountain Drake that's currently open. Kuala Lumpur Hunters might pick this up, and wow, a really decisive call on that Rip Herald. When they spotted Bigatron Esports right there, they didn't hesitate and immediately pulled the trigger going into that Rip Herald. I would love to see a replay of how that whole fight came about.
It's the fact that I think this is a summary tactic bug. Okay, we're going to be seeing a replay here at the pit.
Yeah, and Caspiel going in. We did talk about earlier how he can also be away for Galio's ultimate so that Galio can go into the fight immediately. But we saw Bravo TPing through that pink ward. He does pick up that Rift Herald buff, which is kind of at least a saving grace for Bigatron Esports. They did not lose everything. They still had a trade-off, but losing 3 members, a tower, and a dragon is a lot for KLH.
And this is KLH just wrapping things up here. Overwhelming BTR with the outstanding numbers here. But that concludes our replay. Back onto the live. This is going to be our 13-minute mark. Mountain Drake still up in the air. Not yet taken away by KLH. But at this point, why not take it away? But BTR still wrapping things up here. We can see the gold.
Yeah, and looking at the gold right here, there's a pretty large lead for Caspiel against Zico. He has like a 1,500 gold lead against his counterpart. And also in the bot lane, Ozoroveki has an almost 2k gold lead, which if you look at it, both Caspiel and Ozoroveki has essentially the gold lead of Kuala Lumpur Hunters at this point.
We're going to be seeing a lot of focus in the jungle and the ADCs here. I mean, look at Caspiel. I mean, we're seeing a lot of CS on him. We're also seeing a lot of participation too.
Yeah.
But come late game, that's the real question here. And I think that's everyone's wondering right now. I mean, for those who are watching, you might be wondering, BTR, can they still do it here? Chances are when late game does come, yes, but that's why you're seeing KLH trying to end the game as fast as they can.
Exactly. And also, if we're talking about the late game, you would usually need to get to the late game by prepping yourselves in the early game. And that's what Caspiel has been doing for his team. They have been preparing for this eventual late game where Kaisa can also take over a game, as well the overwhelming Vladimir damage. But we'll see here right now, their Herald is about to hit the top lane turret.
Chunks it down, Hero's entrance is available. Check out R-Hedge, empty going in for the dive there. Becky goes over that wall. It's going to be channeling the Hero's entrance. Burns! The saving grace for KLH and zoning at the members of BTR. Barrage onto Becky. That's gonna be the Herald going down. BTR still could not find the turret they want. They see a war. KLH knows that Dreams is on that brush. They will just slow things down here and push away BTR.
And I feel that was a bit of butterfingers coming from our hedge right there. But great killer instinct usage from Ozravecki. He's positioned himself well so that he would be out of a lot of aggression coming from Bigatron Esports, and Kuala Lumpur Hunters turning that around, getting the first tier, the last outer tier turret for Bigatron Esports.
Okay, we're seeing a lot of things happening here, but one thing that has been happening, the same thing over and over, is that you see BTR starting things up and hey, let's take this mid lane turret. But then again, KLH is like, nah, we're gonna be the ones to take it away. They're the ones answering the aggression from BTR, and you can see in the turret score 0-3. That's the exact pattern we've been seeing all throughout, nearing our 60-minute mark.
Yeah, and that's what we have been seeing from the high-tier teams coming in this tournament, especially Ascension Gaming. If you remember yesterday, their games, they would always punish teams for going too aggressive or for small mistakes. And that's what we see Kuala Lumpur Hunters is doing here. The small mistakes, the small over commitments of Bigatron Esports to one part of the map, they immediately recognize that and immediately go towards that side of the map, trying to have their own numbers advantage. They wait for Bigatron Esports actually to initiate, then immediately counter-initiate.
And also I'm seeing here, oh, Shiro's left alone. Pinched in the pillar, Ignite's taking it under the pool. I think the burn will be enough. He flashes away, he gets the heal. Shiro one more jump away. He gets some heal from Zico, trying to channel in, and oh my god, Shiro still surviving, but Zico flashing in for that kill. Superior from the Riverside going in on 2 Dreams. He's gonna be the one to get a tether. No, it will just be a disengage with the binding.
Yeah, but we did see that there was a trade happening in the middle, but Ozravecki getting jumped on.
Flashing in, ultimatum for the lockdown, shut down goes to Minky.
Yeah, and that is a case of over-aggression from Ozravecki. He did get the solo kill on Bravo early on, but because of him staying too far in that mid lane, he was able to be picked off, and it looks like Bigatron Esports are about to get their first turret of the game.
About time, actually. Yeah. About time that they get the first turret. Not only that it's opened this map up, and again, like I said before, KLH, every time you see BTR going for turrets, they are there. Zico, Black Shield up, gets expired. He does get away with the Frozen Domain, and now, are we going to be seeing a pinch here? We see our hedge. Flash top! 2 members locked down. That's going to be Becky. Oh, Caspiel will be the one to just chuck him down.
Yeah, and that was a great collapse coming from Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Bigatron Esports does get their first tower, but in response, they lose 2 members from their team.
Oh man, Caspiel with the execute with the ultimate there. Not to mention our hedge with the setup. This opens up the Mountain Drake. So they're gonna take it right now.
Yeah, and also we should mention that right now Ozravecki on this Kaisa did finish off that Storm Razors first and is now building towards that Ginsu's Rage Blade. Before, when we were seeing a lot of Kaisa, they would always build that Ginsu's Rage Blade first. But ever since around 8.13, 8.14, Storm Razors has been more prevalent. And with the addition of the buffs in terms of, the adjustments to its price range, it can be more easily bought by the marksman. And we're going to the replay right here to see just how Bravo fell to Ozravecki. Yeah, this was what I was thinking of. And he probably just got hit by the killer, by the W coming from Kaisa and just got jumped on immediately. Did we see here the fast forward?
I mean, did you see that they were playing some mind games here, man?
Yeah, but there, we saw the over-aggression from Ozravecki. He just overstayed in that lane. That's why I got jumped by Minky right there.
And it's the fact that Bravo, he even waited to shift away. And Becky was like, nah, I got a better timing here. I'm the one's going to be the one who's going to jump on you, pops it. At least the shot time goes to Minky, and Minky has a Triforce and a Tiamat. So, we talked about Camille. We talked about this champion being a powerful split pusher. I want to say BTR use it, but it's quite hard if you're seeing KLH just denying it. But at least we're seeing some pressure in the bot lane.
Yeah, it's also hard to have a really strong split pusher if your team is losing all around the map, because Kuala Lumpur Hunters will just be able to collapse on that single split pusher that you have. But right now, it looks like Kuala Lumpur Hunters is looking for a kill in the top side.
Look at Becky and going in with the burst, flashing away. Zico coming in, teleport is here. He's trying to put a pillar. There's the slow. Will they go for the engage? I'm looking for the binding. Dreams with the binding. With the binding. But that's going to be a disengage thanks to our head. Superior going in with the tether. Same Machino with a teleport play. It is KLH turning things around in the bot lane. They're pushing like the members of BTR. MT is down. Same with Dreams. Only 3 members of BTR remain. And KLH, they're not scared. They're pushing on the top side.
Yeah, and this Kaisa is just so ahead right now at this point in the game. You saw how he popped empty on that Corki while he was just trying to get back to the second tier top lane turret. And when Bigatron Esports tried to answer back, tried to get a kill on Azaraveki, Kuala Lumpur Hunters was there for the save.
Man, the fact that again, KLH, they know how to bait in BTR at the same time, make a fight in their complete favor. But right now, BTR, at least we're seeing some, fight in them. They're not letting KLH have everything just yet.
Yeah, they're not accepting anything from Kuala Lumpur Hunters face down. Yeah, without a fight, they just keep going, trying to get these trades. But Kuala Lumpur Hunters feels like they're always ahead in the mind games against Bigatron Esports. They know that Bigatron will always try to go for these trades, and they always prepare themselves ahead of time and spring the trap against Bigatron Esports. That's why Kuala Lumpur Hunters has this almost 6,000 gold lead, and it looks like they're trying to control the Baron area. And this might be the next point of contention for these two teams.
And look at Vicky, and now stacking up his Stormazer and Rage. But as you said, man, but for Caspiel, looking at him, Delivery and the Warriors entrapment. So 6k gold lead it's showing right now. Baron is live. BTR, they're putting some vision here. KLH, what are they trying to do here? They're just trying to buy time here. But BTR, let's wait for this Corki to pop up, I guess.
Yeah, for BTR right now, they just want their carries to get their items. They just want Zico to get a bit more tankier. But they do need to push the issue against Kuala Lumpur Hunters. They need to find ways to get picks so that they could prolong the game. Because if this game goes at the pace that Kuala Lumpur Hunters wants to, if at this point that no one will die from Kuala Lumpur Hunters' side, then they can just keep on controlling the map.
Look at that, wards being placed in the blue side of BTR. Mickey getting chunked by Becky. There's the subjugate being popped to try and scare him away. Becky is not backing down just yet. Caspiel waiting in the walls. Going in onto Mickey, he gets away. With a repel there, so this opens up the Baron pit a lot. We can see a lot of pings by KLH, but BTR, they know what they're setting up here. They need to answer this.
Yeah, but BTR did not lose a single member, so they're still pretty strong on this Baron contest. But it looks like Kuala Lumpur Hunters just wants to bait in Bigatron Esports.
Look at Minky knowing that he may be getting jumped on by the members of KLH. Crucial Barrage was used to just scout out the river.
This is pretty greedy.
This is pretty greedy, but that is the bait they were looking for. Becky popping the stasis there. So that will be enough time for him to survive and burning some ultimates on their side.
Yeah, and I also like the aggression coming from Azaraveki. He really just wanted to try to get the engage on Bigatron Esports. They really wanted to see if Bigatron Esports would bite, but they didn't. In return, Kuala Lumpur Hunters did lose 2 ultimates.
Oh, Dreams getting caught by the taunt there. He's still surviving. Here comes KLH approaching the mid lane. Okay, Casper going in with the engage there. Redemption's coming in. What a taunt from RH to trap the members of BTR. Looking at how things are going, KLH again baiting them in, springing the trap. BTR lost 2 members.
Yeah, and with the 2 members lost from Bigatron Esports, this is just the opening that Kuala Lumpur Hunters wanted, and they're now going on this Baron.
Oh man, that's wide open there. No jungler, no top lane for BTR. This is free, but they're trying to fight back. Empty cleanses away from all the CC. KLH through at them, slowing down the Baron. Caspiel is very, very low. There's the shield from the Karma. This is still gonna be the Baron going to KLH.
Yeah, and the Baron secure from Kuala Lumpur Hunters jumps them to that 8,000 gold lead. But I'm hoping to see a replay of how the fight went down earlier. But at the same time, I felt like Bigatron Esports was playing too much into what Kuala Lumpur Hunters wanted them to do. Because at that point, during a Baron dance, you always would want to try and get mid lane priority. You would always want your lanes to be shoving towards the other team's base. But Bigatron Esports, it didn't look like they were trying to shove their lanes. It looked like they kept trying to stay in their blue buff side jungle. Kept trying to lock into Kuala Lumpur Hunters. But at that point, it wouldn't work out because Kuala Lumpur Hunters did have that 6,000 gold lead. They have really, really strong members compared to Bigatron Esports. So whatever fight that Bigatron Esports tries to pull off against Kuala Lumpur Hunters, they would just flat out lose.
And because of the damage coming in from KLH, I mean, the items, the money is all on their side. So, BTR now... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Caspiel with the execute from the ultimate there. And what a great shot from MT from the Corki. Trying to get away from our hedge. Trying to kite him away. Is going to be enough? Nah, I don't think so. Just a sponge for the finishing move. KLH now pushing in the mid lane. That's going to be 3 members of BTR down for the count.
Yeah, and Kuala Lumpur Hunters also getting a pick in the mid lane. I do love what RH did right there. It felt like such a boss just running down MT. And looks like Kuala Lumpur Hunters is eyeing to get more. Or they're probably just going to go to the bot lane right now.
They're shifting towards the bot lane. What a thank you way from RH too. Just get more value from what they picked off in the bot side. So, Minky, Dreams, Zico on the scene, going in for the engage. Miko gets away. Minky getting a lot of damage, getting away, flashes away, gets a redemption heal. That's going to be enough for them to survive, but leaves behind Zico. Becky takes him down. Inhibitor in the bot lane is now exposed. Zico's death timer is 34. BTR has lost 2 inhibitors total.
Yeah, and Kuala Lumpur Hunters there took the safer play. Instead of trying to end the game, they go back to the bot lane. But MT, what are you doing?
Trying to cut them up, trying to start things out for BTR. Mickey diving in, locking the members. Well, the ultimate could not pop. Becky, he gets the double, and now KLH, they were going for the reset, but never mind. Teleport coming in, they're gonna end the game.
Yeah, and KLH right there says, thank you very much, Bigatron Esports. Now we can try and finish this game. We don't need a reset. Trying to get these 2 Nexusers, but Casper, it looks like he's gonna survive.
He's gonna survive. The Nexus is now exposed. It's gonna be KLH just stacking up their stats here as they're gonna go for another wipeout while the minions do all the heavy lifting. This ends match 4 with the heavy favorites from Group B, Kuala Lumpur Hunters, taking away the game.
Yeah, and congratulations to Kuala Lumpur Hunters securing the second win of this Group B. And wow, they even finished it in style. Just destroying the Nexus, they also get that ace.
So here's the thing, we're seeing a lot of similarities here. First seed of Malaysia, heavy favorites of Group B, now having a very clean game so far for their first day in their Group B. But now, I think it comes down to how BTR can shake things up here. But nonetheless, match 4 ends with Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Congratulations! I feel like the crowds are cheering, and not to mention, the regions are very proud of you for winning that game.
Yeah, and everyone probably right now in Malaysia is celebrating for that second win of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. But going back into that game, at the start it felt like both teams were just trying to feel each other out, trying to see which team would make that first mistake, and slowly Caspiel, I felt like was the biggest key into that win for Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Even though with that really unorthodox Rek'Sai pick, he was able to use it really effectively to snowball the game for his team. We didn't really see a lot of great ganks coming from Caspiel earlier on, but because that he wasn't really going for those ganks, he was mostly going for the counter jungle against Zico. Just kept tracking him down. It's why his team knew where he was all the time.
Definitely, it's the fact that when you talk about how things went down, it's pretty scary to say that Kuala Lumpur Hunters, they're pretty strong, but I think this will conclude our match 4. We'll be going to a short break to continue on the half of our stream here. Thank you so much for watching the group stages of the Globe Conquerors Manila. We are now on day 2 at Group B. So this is me, Vulcan and Crazy Apple signing off. We thank you everyone for supporting our stream, and we hope to see you after the short break, because don't go away. Next up is going to be Kuala Lumpur Hunters again, facing off against the second seed of Thailand, Mega Esports. Who's coming in? That's going to be Heroes Who's coming in, and that's the knockup they're looking for. Zico, can he get the secure? It's going to be BTR losing everything in the Rip Hell Pit. Dreams gets away with a flash, but Becky will be chasing on the mirrors down, while Caspiel will be the ones to take down Dreams.
Yeah, and it's a 3-4-0 so
But
far.
at this point, KLH doesn't care. They're going in for the television, and caught and up in the air. KLH dives that inner mid
You know,
lane
with a
turret.
teleport play, it is KLH turning the ground in the bot lane.
They're pushing with the members of BTR. MT is down. Same with Dreams. Only 3 members of BTR remain. And KLH, they're not scared. They're pushing on the top side.
Yeah,
Okay, Casper going in with the engage there. Redemption's coming in. What a taunt from Arhedge to trap the members of BTR. Looking at Miko on the scene. They're going in for the engage. Miko gets away. Minky getting a lot of damage, getting away, flashes away, gets a redemption heal. That's going to be enough for them to survive, but leaves behind Zico. Becky takes him down. Inhibitor in the bot lane is now exposed. Zico's death timer is 34. BTR has lost 2 inhibitors.
But Empty, what are you doing?
Trying to cut them up, trying to start things out for BTR. Mickey diving in, locking the members. We're the only man that could not pop. Becky, he gets the double, and now KLH, they were going for the reset, but never mind. Teleport coming in, they're gonna end the game.
Yeah, and KLH right there says, thank you very much, Bigatron Esports. Now we can try and finish this game. We don't need a reset. Trying to get these 2 Nexusers, but Casper, it looks like he's gonna survive.
He's gonna survive. The Nexus is now exposed. It's gonna be KLH just stacking up their stats here as they're gonna go for another wipeout while the minions do all the heavy lifting. This ends match 4 with the heavy favorites from Group B, Kuala Lumpur Hunters taking away the game.
Yeah, and congratulations to Kuala Lumpur